Hey there, Gemini Ascendant. This is your Ascendant Forecast for the week ahead, taking you from Monday the 24th of November right the way through to Sunday the 30th of November 2025. Now, this, I think, is a week where things are starting to really release. And I say that with so much emphasis because your ruling planet, which is Mercury, is currently retrograde. He's been retrograde since earlier this month. And he is going forwards again from the 29th, which I think is going to be great. So that's going to be a massive sigh of relief for you. But it's not just Mercury. We've also got Saturn that's he has been retrograde since July the 13th. And now he's about to go, he's about to straighten up his act and go direct again. We've also got Venus, who is making some really, really strong aspects. She's aspecting your Mercury, your ruling planet. She's also aspecting exactly Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. So that's 5 different planets. And she's also moving into the sign of Sagittarius. Now, she is all about flow, and she's all about relationships and ease and grace and also abundance. So I think as she also moves through this, we're really starting to come out of that really deep, strong Scorpio time that has been really, I think, churning up some deep stuff in your day-to-day running of your home and how you experience life. It's probably created a little bit of turmoil for you, to be honest. It's been intense. And we're really coming into this Sagittarian time, which for you is all about relationships. So I think this is going to be quite a good week. Yeah, let's get cracking. If you're new to this channel, by the way, my name's Louisa. Welcome to Feel Good Astrology. Hope you like it. And as ever, I'm going to start by saying a big thank you to people that support my channel and also my school community on school.com. That's SKOOL.com. Without my supporters, this would be a very sort of different experience for me. So thank you so much. Anyway, what I've got here are the 2 charts. This is for, I think, Sunday the 23rd. And then this one here is for the 30th. And so what we've got, you'll see here at the start of this, we've got the sun in Sagittarius, the moon in Capricorn. By the end of the week, the moon has gone all the way around to Aries, and you'll see that Venus has just come into your 7th house. And by this time, your Mercury, your ruling planet, is going direct again. Let me just paste that back. So at the beginning of this week, you've got Mercury retrograde and Venus still in this very sort of Scorpio energy. And by the end of this, we've got Venus, Mars, and the sun in your 7th house of relationships, and Mercury is going direct again. So this is great because this energy here in the 6th house is very much about your day-to-day, your productivity, how easy it is to get things done. And having Mercury, your ruling planet, going retrograde in this part of your chart most likely brings up a few issues. Most likely you felt that things have either really sped up in an uncomfortable way, or things have really slowed down or got very jarring. And so that balance will return, the smooth flow will return, which I think is going to be great. Also, we are starting to move out of the oppositional phase of, if I just go back a second, in recent weeks, we've had the sun, Mercury retrograde, and also Venus in opposition to Uranus. What we'll start to see is, the sun, you'll see this is really faintly demarcated, and Mercury retrograde, this is faintly demarcated. This is easing off, and we've got the Venus and Uranus opposition playing out across this very, very sensitive part of the chart. But we're coming out of this time where it's super intense and jarring, and we're coming into a time of a smoother flow. So I think that's helpful. Now, the first thing, and I've listed this in order, and these are the most important things I see happening this week. But where we're starting this week is with Mars and some T-square, a T-square to the nodes. Now, this is what it looks like. So Mars is in this part to do with relationships in the sign of Sagittarius. So he's very excited about relationships. And to me, this is possibly where you feel that your partner's highly motivated and highly sparky right now. Or it might be that you're feeling very motivated with your partner. and the people around you. But this T square to the nodes, you've got the South node in the 4th house to do with your home and your family, and then you've got you've got a T square or a square to the North node in the 10th house, which is all about your visibility, your career, your success, your recognition. How recognized and do you feel like you receive adulation for who you are? And so this is in a bit of a bind right now. And Mars here in this part of relationships is really, to me, showing that there is something left very much unsaid that needs to be cleared at the beginning of the week, because it's very difficult for you to make the next challenged move in terms of your career. And it feels like it's all resting on you releasing it from your past, releasing it from your family. And so that's my question to you. What has held you back from taking career movements right now? In particular, what relationship issue is going on that's stopping you from moving forwards? Because there's something that you haven't dealt with, or you thought you dealt with enough, but it just doesn't appear to be like that. So at the start, it maybe feels like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. Maybe it feels like you can't move forwards because there's somebody at home holding you back, or this is something not quite clear. So that's the first thing that I think is coming up at the start of this week. And then we've got you'll see the 25th and the 26th, that's Tuesday to Wednesday. We've got 3 really quite stunning energies occurring. So the first one, and if I go back, you'll see it much more clearly. We've got a conjunction between Venus and Mercury retrograde on Tuesday in the 6th house. And to me, there's a realization here about your productivity. Maybe something occurs to you that you didn't quite realize. It's almost like in trying to be more productive or trying to understand the flow of your day-to-day. And that's not just about your work. It's not just about how you manage your money. It could also be about how you manage your health and your well-being, because that definitely falls in this 6th house. It could also be how you manage your pets. And, there's a lot that goes into running your home and your life. And so if there's been an issue with getting things done on Tuesday in particular, if you go deeper into the problem or look at it from a completely new perspective, all of a sudden something breaks through. And that's one of the things that I think is coming up as a really big theme this week, is this emotional breakthrough and a releasing breakthrough. And so Tuesday starts that ball rolling in quite a nice way. And then on Wednesday, Venus is exactly in a trine with Saturn in your 10th house to do with your career. And she's also in a trine to Jupiter in your 2nd house to do with your money. And so whatever you're working out for yourself, I think is going to increase your productivity, which can help you move forwards in your career and your recognition, and also in terms of receiving money. So to me, I don't know what it is, but obviously I think it also fits in with this Mars thing. So this is pretty big. And then we're coming to the end of the week. The 27th, there's nothing really listed here. And, unless you're American and it's Thanksgiving, there's not much else going on for everyone else. It's a fairly, we've got a moon aspects. I don't really talk about those here particularly. And then we're into the 28th to the 30th. So that's Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. And you'll see Sunday's a huge day. But on Friday, the sun and the moon come into an exact square, triggering the first quarter. That's important because around the time of the first quarter, it's a time when things start to speed up a little bit, where we're starting to pick up pace after the new moon, which was last week. It feels like things are moving along at a nice, steady pace, and it's just time to put your foot on the accelerator a little bit. And then on the 28th, Saturn starts moving forwards. He's going direct, having been retrograde since mid-July. To me, that's indicative that you've learned something about your career. that you didn't know before, that you needed to re-explore. It might even be resolving something that started back in March 2023. So that's a huge relief, because all those sort of struggles that you've had to be seen, to be visible, and to be received with this sort of energy that you expect to be received by, to me, this is coming to an end. This should move on in a really satisfactory way. And then on Saturday, Mercury goes direct. That's your ruling planet. He's going direct, and that's going to really help you get things done again and catch up where you fell behind. Love that. And then on Sunday, the 30th, we've got Venus in an exact opposition to Uranus. This is ever so slightly just in your 6th house. Ever so slightly opposite your 12th house. To me, it feels like there's an emotional breakthrough coming up where you realize that some of the identity you've built around your busyness, around the things that you do, have meant more to you than your actual being. So I think there's a big breakthrough coming to you about, I'm not my doings, I am my beings, if that makes sense. I.e., sometimes, we put so much energy on who we are because of our career, and we forget about who we are when that career is stripped away. And so I think there's an awakening as you're kind of letting go of some of your stories. It's very powerful. And at the same time, Venus is also going into an exact trine with Neptune. And this is significant because Neptune is in the part of your career. But to me, this is really bringing up a spiritual energy to do with, the stories that you've had about your career. Are they still accurate? Has your main drive changed? Has your main focus changed? Is it more spiritual now? Can you forgive yourself? There's a lot of forgiveness and generosity coming up on the 30th that's allowing you to move forwards, which is beautiful. And then finally, Venus goes into Sagittarius. So she's now in your 7th house, which is great. Because if you're not in a relationship, this transit when Venus is coming through your 7th house, also the Sun and also Mars, is very healing. To me, this is bringing up some fun, some lightness, and a feeling that things have a new perspective, a possibility, and a new relationship momentum. I love this so much. So yeah, this is the week where I think things are releasing for you, Gemini. And so if you've enjoyed the way I look at charts and my perspective about the planets, then maybe you'd like to journey with me. I'm opening up 20 spots next year for a year-long private mentorship where we explore your chart, your rhythms, your healing on a month-by-month basis. And so if anything like that sounds like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for, it's the right time, then just get in touch. All of my details are in the show notes below, but also on my channel page. So anyway, have a fabulous week ahead, Gemini, and catch up with you all soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.